Welcome to Color Me Happy. My name is Randi. I am your host. Thank you so much for your time and being here with me today. I'm really excited about our guest today. But before that, a word from our sponsors, Nouveau Laser and Aesthetic Center. Vanessa, the co-owner of Nouveau, she has skincare tips and they're amazing. I love them. And it's totally changed my whole routine, basically. And I didn't know things that I was little missteps. Like they have this really cool sunscreen that's also like a bit of a concealer. And I'm really freckles sunspotty, especially this time of year. And so it really helps. It like kind of, I don't like makeup. So this has like a bit of these like color matching beads in it. So it like matches my skin. Anyways, I'm really loving it. And Vanessa put it on my face one day and I was like, what is this magic? And she's like, oh, it's actually sunscreen that has these like color matching things. And I'm like, no way. So she blows my mind all the time. So her skincare tip is invest in skincare that actually works. Like she has shown me so many times, which I'm kind of a cheapie. So this is great because she has makeup in stock that is pharmaceutical grade, but it's just as a similar pricing to the products that they have at Nouveau. So check that out. I love it, obviously. This week on, we have our guest, Randi Noble, and she is an Indigenous photographer. She's from Lloydminster, and a lot of her family is in Onion Lake, which is about an hour north of Lloydminster. And we both grew up here, and it's just such a great episode because we talk about our past and our mothers, and we had very similar childhoods in Saskatchewan. And so we get chatting about all those fun times and spending lots of time outside. And I love hearing about Randi's story and her connection with the land and her connection with our community. And I'm learning more and more about her every time we meet. And it's just such a lovely experience. She has this gravity and she is great at storytelling, and she always can make people laugh, which is amazing. We actually just recorded, she works at our other sponsor at Red Bicycle Communications. She's one of those wonderful women there, and we just did like a live recording. We did a panel discussion with 6 women from our community, and hopefully that will be ready and out by next week if editing takes a little bit longer because it's like video and Nara Studios is doing that for us. It might be 2 weeks, but yeah. Anyway, it was so cool. And yeah, Randi's constantly making us all laugh. We also talk about our secret project coming up together that is going to change our community. We're working really hard on it. And we also chat in this episode about Randi's work with missing and murdered Indigenous women and their walk in our community with Krista Fox. And she chats about all of that and how it came together and the beautiful women in our community who were a part of that. So the links for all of that are in the notes, and well, I'll just let you hear the podcast. It's a great one. Enjoy. Okay, cool. Welcome, Randi. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for asking me.
Yeah. I'm really excited to chat with you because I want to hear about your journey, first of all, through our community, secondly, as a creative in our community, and just like a really fierce female. And was that the ding? Did it just start?
No, it dinged.
Oh, well, this is Randi. If it didn't get to the first ding,
we'll start over.
That's okay. That's how the podcast goes. Yeah, I'm really excited to chat with you because there's things I don't know. So if this is anyone's first time listening, for podcasts, usually people send like big questionnaires and it's like an hour to answer them. And I know because I've been on a lot myself, and I don't do that. So it's an like authentic, first time conversation, learning all these things. I mean, some people I know, but like how well do I know them? Not that well. So Randy, I can't wait to get to know you better, and I'm really excited. We first, well, we've both been around this community, but we first connected. What was it, 2 or 3 Christmases ago?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
So the piece behind Randi, if you're watching on YouTube or if you want to watch on YouTube, that is her mother, and it's so beautiful. And she commissioned me to uh, make it for her, and it's by what are those trees with the orange berry?
It was high bush cranberry trees down the river is where she was.
Yeah. So it was, yeah, it's pretty special, and I was honored that you asked me, and yeah. So that's how we kind of initially connected. So I want to hear, so where were you born?
I was born in Lloyd,
Yeah.
almost in the back seat of the Bronco.
Oh gosh.
My mom was so funny. The story is she was pregnant. I was the fourth child. And she's like, "Oh, I feel like I'm going into labor." So she got up and started doing laundry of baby clothes that my sister had worn. We're only 13 months apart. And phoned my grandpa at around 11:15, woke him up, and she was like, "I'm going into labor. Ed has to take me into the hospital. So can you come up and watch the kids?" So grandpa come up, and then him and or her and dad jumped in the Bronco, and mom was so uncomfortable she had to lay in the back seat. And dad was flying to town. We're 30 minutes northeast of Lloyd, and he made it to Lloyd in 20 minutes. And
Oh,
it's just the funniest thing. And then I was born at 12:05 a.m. on September 17th. So
oh
yeah,
wow.
in Lloyd. It
Yeah.
was
You're not the first baby I've heard to almost be like, I know there was a baby born on that highway um coming from north of town, and it's just like the baby.
us
Your
northern,
birth
yes.
story.
Yeah, no, and yeah. So I was born in Lloyd and then raised on the farm by Hillmont, straight east of Hillmont on the river.
Oh, okay. So did you go to school in
Yes, I went K to 12 to Hillmont, graduated there. My dad attended school in Hillmont. His pictures on the wall, his siblings' pictures are on the wall. Like now my kids are in Hillmont and they're looking at all of our pictures on the wall, and it's so funny to me.
Oh, that is pretty crazy.
Yeah,
Did you know in high school that you would, so Randy is a photographer. She has Yellowfinch images. That's correct, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Did you know that you wanted to get into photography then?
Yes, I did. So my dad, I think he had a Tamron camera always slung over his shoulders with like the Canada flag strap. And everywhere we went, he was taking pictures. So he actually took that photo of mom. And he would just do these beautiful portraits of us, like mostly of me and my sister, because we were way cuter than our brothers. Just kidding. But he always had his camera out. Like he was busy farming and that, but he just would take the time to do that. It was kind of a hobby of his. So um, I always loved looking at the photos that he would take. We had like, I remember our boxes in our living room or in our the tea room, we called it. There was this big storage shelf, and it was like our boxes that our skates came in, our figure skates that we'd always buy from Sheps, that they were full of pictures and photo albums, and everything was up there. So I'd spend hours just going through pictures all the time. And then in high school, I did photography and got to like play around in the dark room, like in the photo lab. And Amanda Amandrew and I hung out there a lot. We probably weren't like actually doing schoolwork, but it was really fun to experiment. Um, and then I went off to college and remember disposable cameras. I bought
Oh
those
yeah.
all the time. And anytime I came home,
The worst pictures ever.
and I would have like Kodak or Fujifilm just going to Shoppers Drug Mart to get them printed off. And I just had stacks of photos from every weekend that I would come home from Calgary or yeah. Yeah. Once I got working and then had kids, like I kind of lost the thrill of it. But when Jesse and I got married, I bought my first little like digital camera, and then I started to play around more. So it was really fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a motherhood is such a, transformative time in your life that sometimes some things have to give. Like I wish that wasn't the case, but
Yeah. I
How
took lots of
yeah,
photos of the boys, like they were kind of my muse, right? I just took
yeah,
photos of them all the time, their little hands, their little feet, and I was like, "Oh,
yeah,
yeah."
yeah. But it's hard to like take something else on like professionally and or make ends meet or do that. And a lot of
Yeah.
time female creatives do let that fall to the wayside because unfortunately, right? And that's why I tried to support other women saying you just have to kind of like fit it in between moments.
And yeah, and I mean everybody has to go about it the way that feels best for them, right? But
Mhm.
I I loved it. Like Facebook just came out really when I had my kids, so that was like my big thing. Like I would take pictures and post them to Facebook all the time.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah, and then people started to ask me about like my auntie is like Auntie Leona, hi, my number one fan, basically. She still has
She's
photos that
listening right now.
I
She'll be
hopefully.
listening.
She's I have to say my favorite auntie. She has photos of mine printed off and they've been on her walls for years. Like she just loves them with flowers or whatever that I took. So
So tell me the story. I really love, speaking of flowers, the pieces you did. What is it? The crocus?
focus. Yeah.
Yeah. Talk
Yeah.
about that a little bit. I love the story that goes along with it too.
Oh, so we grew up on the river hills, right? We always went walking out, and every spring it was her favorite time, right? Who doesn't love spring? Mom loved spring. So we go walking through the hills and go and look and find the crocuses. And right on the edge of our yard on the other side of the fence, we were on this big sandy hill that got a whole bunch of sun. There were so many crocuses. Like my dad has pictures of us. Well, I actually have them of us picking crocuses, and like my sister's in this beautiful little dress and I'm in my brother's corduroy pants with no shirt. She was just so girly and pretty. And I was just filthiest wild little animal. And we picked so many crocuses. Now that I'm an adult, I think that we killed that little crop because you're not supposed to pick them. They like, they grow and then they make the longer shoots and then yeah. Anyway,
Mhm.
so we would go picking crocuses every year, mom and Ricky and I, and bring them into the house. And it would drive dad crazy because the no-see-ums would be in the house then.
Oh,
Yeah, so now every year, ever since mom passed away, it's 7 years, I still go out and look for crocuses and
mhm.
got the little crocus tattoo on my arm with her writing. And yeah, they're
Just a
pretty,
reminder.
yeah, see, they're pretty
Oh,
sentimental.
that's so beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well,
super
those are
sentimental.
probably like I love your work, but those are probably my favorite photos that you do. Um, it's
Thanks.
just, something that when it tells a story and it's not just you taking a photo of a flower, like it has a whole lifetime attached to it. And I really, yeah, I knew right away, like I was just like, there's something
There's
about these
something
that
there.
is
Why
like
is she
extra,
so obsessed?
yeah,
Yeah.
extra special, which
Yeah.
is great. So also with your yellow finch images, did a social media platform and feature story about MMIW, which is missing and murdered Indigenous women,
Mm.
and you told a local story about Jorita Nastis.
Nice.
Nastis. I knew I would fuck it up no matter what.
I
Um,
mean, okay.
Surprised I said your name right,
Anyone
but
who knows me from Onion Lake knows I can mess up a name or a word. Like,
yeah, so uh when I saw that, it's a very powerful story, not only because it's something that needs to be brought to everyone's attention in our country, but this one particularly hits home because
yeah.
it was in Lloydminster. Do you want to talk about that, or I can read your I have my
Well,
I have it
so
too, if you'd like me to read it.
it's okay. I can talk about it. I'm always really, really cognizant of speaking other people's stories, though. So I don't want to disrespect the family. Like, obviously,
No.
it's so strong and all encompassing. But Jorita was a young mom of two children, and she was out for a birthday weekend with friends. They were in town. They ended up spending the night. They went to the Capri. they were having a great time, and there was this man there who kind of took interest to her. I don't know, like, so Connie Little Wolf is her mother, and she was telling the story on May 5th when we did the Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women Walk in Lloyd with Krista Fox, who's walking across Canada. So she spoke about it, and it's just devastating. Anyways, this man was a trucker, and he ended up going into her room that night, and he assaulted her. He broke her bones. He raped her. He murdered her. It was horrible, and it's always, I feel like that part of the story, it's so heartbreaking and devastating to talk about the loss of someone, but then to talk about the brutality of it is even worse. But I also think it's important to say that, like, he did that to her, right? Like, this man killed her, this man raped her, this man beat her. This man took a mother from two little children. So, and then went to court, and I believe he had charges laid against him. Yeah, he went to trial twice is what it was. And then there was a guilty verdict. And then the second time around when he went to trial
They
again,
appealed, right?
yes, there was an appeal, and he was acquitted because it would have been second-degree murder, I believe. So yeah, and it's devastating. And
family. Well, it's devastating, first of all, but for that family,
yeah.
you know, and for them to talk about it is very brave.
Mm-hmm.
But it just, you know, it's it's a challenge to talk about, but if we don't talk about it, it won't stop. Uh and and for the fact that like if you just simply go and research any sort of statistics, or if you go to the MMIW
Mm-hmm.
like website,
Mm-hmm.
um you will be appalled,
Yeah.
let's just say.
I think that people will be appalled being from Lloydminster and not even knowing the number of individuals who've been missing and murdered from Onion Lake itself. So
Mhm.
they've, a year ago, I think it was last year, they erected a red teepee up on the river on the north side. So when you cross the bridge, you can see it up on the right-hand side, and it's beautiful. It's just a big red teepee, and they have flags there. There's a bunch of toys honoring the children, the residential school children as well. But they've planted trees in honor of each of the missing and murdered Indigenous women and children from the reserve. So there's signs there with their names, there's photos, it's so devastating that this is something that has to be made, but it's really beautiful when you go there. So I think
Mhm.
that people should go and sit with it, go walk around, look at the faces, read the names. These are our community members.
Mhm. Mhm. Well, thank you for sharing about that. Yeah, it moved me, and I wanted to talk to you about it, and I wanted to help share the story. I know, like, do you know specific ways they can support this cause, or just go to that MMIW website?
I would go to the MMIW website. I don't know if Onion Lake's doing anything right now. But if they are, like, I'll look up, and if anybody can comment that knows, like, I would
I'll
say do
provide
that.
it in the yeah. If anyone knows too
Yeah.
extra information,
Correct me. Like, I don't
I will provide it in the links
yeah. Yeah,
too.
and correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm known to be wrong. So yeah.
Mhm.
Um Yeah, the walk with Krista Fox was really great too. We just kind of threw that together. There's a little powerhouse in our community from Onion Lake that not a lot of people know about, but she's pretty incredible, and that's Trista Cook. She's a makeup artist, and I love her. She's amazing. So,
Does she do hair too?
mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Does
Yeah.
she play volleyball?
Yes, she
Oh,
does.
okay. Yes, I know her
Yeah.
from volleyball.
Yeah. She is awesome.
Yeah, she makes and she's just one of those personalities that, like, yeah, she's a powerhouse.
Yeah, she's like, get shit done.
Yeah, she for sure she is very good at volleyball as well, if anyone needed to know. But yeah, you can feel those people and those women who can inspire
Yeah.
and make change, and it is important. And she is in the heart of Treaty 6 um too, right? The council.
Yeah, Heart of Treaty 6 reconciliation. Yeah.
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 So I think I saw the meeting stuff from
Well,
on Facebook
she's
from
she's the brains behind some things. Like, so with Krista Fox, she messaged me back in January and was like, "We got to do something. Krista Fox is walking across Canada in honor of missing and murdered Indigenous women. So we need to do something." And I was like, "Yeah, man, let's do it. Like, I can do pictures and I can do social media and I can whatever."
Mhm.
And then she connected with Ricky. She's just spearheaded everything. Connected with my sister Ricky Ducharme, who works at Lakeland College and is on the Heart of Treaty 6 reconciliation board as well. And then you get to meet all of those amazing people who are on that. Like, we threw together a meeting and planned this walk. We sat, I think, for 2 hours. It was amazing. Like,
Mhm.
and then did it.
Yeah.
Just like came together.
Mhm.
So,
Because it was meant to.
yeah, of course. Yeah.
It's supposed to, right?
Yeah.
Um,
And our mayor was the first mayor to greet Krista, period. From BC.
wow.
She lived in BC and then
What?
came to like
That's
she went through
crazy.
major cities. She went through Calgary, Edmonton, she went through small communities, she went through everywhere. And Lloydminster's mayor was the first one to actually speak and greet her.
That is powerful. That's great.
I know,
You
I'm
guys
proud of
did it.
Lloydminster for that.
Yeah. I'm very proud of Lloydminster all the time. I think that we have this very special ability to call on one another
Mhm.
and get things done and find a way to help communities and to bring awareness to causes and support one another and causes as well. It's we got to set records. Like, if there was some sort of like stats to who supported causes and
Yeah.
the funds that can be raised here, it's very special and very powerful, and I'm very proud of where I'm from, and I think it will just grow and evolve and change and even become more special. So
I think so.
um yeah.
And I think it's our generation that's like helping. The ones before us were working. The means just maybe weren't there. Like, we've got fun things like social media to get the word out, right? And podcasts.
Mhm.
We have all this fun stuff now. So we talk about bridging the gap a lot, and I think that that's slowly happening. I think that it's going to always be a work in progress, but just bringing like
That's not something that can happen tomorrow. It's
no.
going to take many, many years.
And like, when I say this is our community, I don't just mean Lloydminster's our community. Lloydminster all encompasses all of the communities. Onion Lake, Frog Lake, like Thunder
It
Trap.
is a crazy surrounding area.
Yeah.
Like, it is, and I talk about that all the time. It's like, it is a big
Mhm.
surrounding, like, when you think about how many people utilize our services,
Yeah.
we're talking about like the sexual assault center or the hospital where you were born. Like,
Mhm.
you came all the way when you were born to the Lloydminster Hospital. And it's so funny because it's on the border. So everyone's from Saskatchewan.
Yeah. Mostly.
Even if you live in Alberta, you're from Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny that way, but it is, and then you think of farmers and you think of all the agriculture
Mhm.
and this, our surrounding area is pretty massive. So Lloydminster does host a lot of numbers that aren't accounted for by the government.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, and these are the people who shop here too, right? Like, they get their food, they get their everything. Like, we're a hub. So
Mm-hmm.
I think
Mm-hmm.
that it's about recognizing that, and I think that we're starting to see the importance of that. So
Mm-hmm.
that's how we bridge the gap, right?
Yeah. No, like, that separation, right?
Mhm.
That, oh, is he gonna be naked? Just let me put like a,
Oh, there's a shirt.
yeah, there's a shirt, but there's no pants.
Okay, good call. Same.
There.
I'm kidding.
Hi, baby. His brother likes to,
I
oh,
love
no, you don't want to show your little hoo-ha. Can you say hi?
it. How are you?
Where did these come from?
I love that. The humidity, I feel like everybody's hair is gonna go curly.
No, but so blonde. Like, I'm
Yeah.
so dark and they're all so blonde. It's just
Yeah.
blows my mind. None of them. They at least have like 2 of them have my dark eyes, which is nice. But they're all
in our family. We were always like, "Oh, everyone has brown eyes. Hi." And when I was having, my husband's very, very bald and white, and he has these piercing blue eyes, and my little grandma Clara was like, "Maybe they'll have blue eyes," and they do.
Really?
Yeah, I carry the gene. I've learned so much about that when I was pregnant with the boys, because I was like, what are they going to look like? Like, who carries what genes? Like, are they going to have dark eyes like me because I have brown eyes and your eyes come from a mother's side? But
Dominant, right?
my dad's side of the family is British and Irish, so there's
No,
green and blue eyes on that side. So because
sorry.
I carry the gene for green and blue eyes, my kids have the blue, and Jenner's eyes are hazel. Very cool.
Yeah, I have 2 dark-eyed babies, but they're blonde.
Yeah.
And then 1 blue eye with like sunshines in them. But it is really interesting. And okay, those are scissors. You have to go with Dad. See, Mommy's talking. Look. Say hi.
Hi.
Not napping anymore. You're really cutting into my. He's just discovered.
He just sees himself.
Yeah. The garage or anything. Yeah, I'm trying. Not only is he not napping, but he's like a Klingon. So it's like 6 a.m. to 7:30. It's me and him. And then the other kids just are around everywhere.
And then I'm at home with my sick teenagers today, and they're just like upstairs.
Yeah, they don't want to see you at all.
I make the food, they eat the food, they leave the room. Like
they're starting to think I'm like pretty uncool, that's for sure. I was like, how about because I think I'm pretty cool. I am an artist and I can make things. So I'm like, I can draw portraits, and the other kids on the street are like, oh my gosh, yeah, show us that. I'm like, I will. Yeah, I'll show you.
Yeah.
I sat there and showed them portraits. So I was like, guys, you want me to come over with your friends again? I'll show you guys like live. Like people actually pay me to do this, by the way.
Yeah. Like I'm a pretty big deal.
Yeah. I'm like, I'll show you guys all how to make a portrait, and we'll do it because we went and got sketchbooks. So
cute.
They absolutely said no.
They would. Yeah.
And then I said, why? And they're like, we'll watch someone cool on YouTube. I was like,
literally.
I'm on YouTube.
That's
I'm one of those cool people who also do it on YouTube. Yeah. And they're just like, no.
Yeah. You're like, hit subscribe.
Yeah, the only thing I don't do on YouTube is subscribe to my channel. That's probably why I have a lack of subscribers on YouTube. I don't say that once ever. Like or subscribe. I can say it now, right now. Like
right now.
Subscribe to this podcast. Maybe it'll grow. No, I'm not very good at commercializing things.
It's hard.
I'm okay at it, but I don't like to push people. If you want to support me, you go for it.
Yeah.
And you find a way. I don't need to be like, look at subscribe.
Well, and I think it happens like naturally too for people, right? Like you've got such a great personality. So
that's like, so kind of you.
I only follow you.
Enough, that's for sure.
Just kidding.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I don't get to do those as much anymore. Oh my, yeah. The things, it's like, well, I do have them a lot, but to cut them up is like a lot of time to cut up the Friday night F-ups. But once in a while, I do have a lot of courses that I haven't put into production, and they have some special things going on in them. But the reason they're taking so long is because I want to cut up one, because I like the parts where I F up, and I want to include them in the course because I think it's part of just, I'm not a perfect person making this course, and it's like some unattainable level. I want you to be able to learn and do those things too. So I'm going to share with you the human parts, and hopefully we laugh together. And then because the human element to anything, right?
Yeah.
And the connection, or why are we doing it? Why are we here?
Well, and then some emotion too, right? Like that's how we connect. Right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. When you swear, your face changes. Like, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. Emotion is the very first thing that your brain recognizes, I think.
Mhm.
I learned in my course I was at last week.
Oh yeah. So let's talk about that. So you work at one of our podcast sponsors, Red Bicycle Communications, and so what do you do in that role there?
I am an accounts manager. So I work on projects with several different clients of mine. Yeah, oh my God. Like, I don't, where do we start? Like, I could talk for hours.
At the beginning.
The beginning. So in the beginning, it was Randi on a green couch having a social hour with the girls, meeting them all for the first time. And that's
Because
when,
you're an all-female office, correct?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And people are like, that must be so dramatic. And it's not.
Or
The
how about don't say that?
We
Like,
talk, like I'm not saying it's perfect.
yeah.
It's not perfect, but we talk, we communicate. And when we're frustrated, we say, like, educate me, like, tell me what I'm missing. Like, obviously, I'm not understanding, like, there's a miscommunication. We just talk and we work well together. Like, we're becoming this well-oiled machine. And it all takes time. Everyone has to find their groove and see how we all fit in together. And it's great and highly supportive and highly intuitive. You want to work somewhere where they're like, "Oh, you seem off today. Like, are you okay?" Check in on you and make sure that you're okay. Like, work with all women. Plus,
Well,
we all
no,
cry at the same time.
I say this, and I don't say a lot because I don't want to be like, I'm a visionary or all powerful or anything.
Yeah,
And no, I'm not going to apologize. I think women are the key to changing the world because
absolutely.
our first instincts, and this is from raising children and seeing, and this is my opinion, and you don't have to agree,
Yeah.
but what I've gauged from spending time with large groups of children in my neighborhood, there's 56, and interacting with youth and
Mhm.
down to the nitty gritty of very young children, the young women first choose compassion and care and are just, and this is not like overall sexism in any way, because everyone varies. There's so
Mhm.
many levels, and as a mother, I always, first move to care and compassion.
Yeah.
And if we, it's just because like the first instinct when they pick something up is like to turn it into some sort of weapon.
Yeah.
Like that's not the first instinct you want in, not saying that men don't grow up or anything, but what if there was just like more women or women representatives in government where our natural instincts aren't to fight,
Yeah. Yeah. And like,
or physically figure something out, but talk about it?
yeah.
Or can we fix this through a different means or a different way? And that is through care or compassion. And again, not everyone is the same. Not every woman's the same. Not every man
Yeah.
and every person that falls in and or in between. But what if there were women in government just like equally represented? It will change the world, is what I'm saying.
I think so.
Men had their shot.
Yeah. Not doing great.
Speaking about the earth and speaking about how, other countries interact with one another. And
Mhm.
not that I love talking about government, but I would love to see, that women
We
have
have
the
the opportunity to start all of this from home too, right? Like, you're a mom of boys, I'm a mom of boys. Um, I would like to say that my kid's first reaction to discomfort isn't anger. Like, I hope that it's like, oh, what's actually going on here? Like, you know, um, one son is rough and tumble of mine, and the other one is absolutely not. And but still loves archery and like, making weapons out of things. And yeah. Anyways, it's lead with compassion is I think the most important thing.
Mhm. Just pause and assess
Yeah.
and yeah, and show compassion,
Yeah.
care for others and honesty and I think it comes from, the parenting too, right?
Yeah.
Um
And communication, like, man, I talk about my emotions. My kids have seen me um laying face down on my pillow for weeks. Like after mom passed away, like they were there. I didn't hide it. I was incapable of hiding that.
yeah.
It was very, very real, and I could not move. So they saw that. They would come in and then ask me how I am. And I would just say, I'm really sad. Like grandma's gone. I'm really sad. And they recognize my emotions so crazy now. Like they'll walk into the kitchen, Ellis, he's just like, you okay? And I'm like, I think so. Like, yeah, I'm fine. And he's like, you okay? He's like, just checking. Cause I'm tired that day, or maybe I'm whatever, but he's so intuitive. And then
Mhm.
Jenner will just be like, hey mom. I'm like, what? And he'll just give me a hug. I'm like, okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that's really special.
Yeah.
And
So I hope that I hope they keep that.
well, for sure, because our parents definitely grew up in a generation where things weren't shared and things weren't coped with in the best possible manner.
Yeah.
Um, through
And like,
compassion and care and having emotions, like especially males weren't allowed to feel or show any sort of emotion,
yeah.
and that's just not. So how do you cope? And then that turns into like alcoholism and depression and
Mhm.
all those toxic
A lot
things
of
that you
anger.
should not, or anger, you should not keep those things inside. Wow, let's talk about every difficult topic we can in
Right?
this podcast.
Ah,
Um, no, it's I want to hear more about your position. So we're talking about how women will change the world, but yeah. So so you were with Jill so Jill is the CEO and founder of Red Bicycle. You were there quite early on.
I think I came in year 5, year 4. I should know this. Jill Kelly is watching me right now, telling me either get back to work or I'm fired. So just kidding. She never says that. I always try to quit. She tells me to get back to work. And in doing that, I need to clear that up. I don't want to quit my job. I love my job. I cherish this house that I'm in. So, yeah. I started there. It'll be 3 years in October. I wasn't actually looking for a job, but I was on my Yellowfinch Images Instagram trying to grow that. It's still not grown. But it slowly is. That you know how hard that is. Like you're like, oh, you have to promote yourself. It's like
I
so
saw 600 followers drop the other day, and I was like, why?
yeah. You're
I
like, what
was like, literally, I was like, what just
what
happened?
I know it's
First it
wild.
grew because I had this really big feature. First, it grew by like 300, and then all of a sudden, 600 just dropped, and I was like, I have no fucking. But I know that there are bots, and I know
Yeah.
that. So Instagram, when they like tackle like some sort of bot system, that they're just like, we got 300 bots or
They were
whatever.
all your followers though.
If you just have left it, that would have been
Yeah,
super thanks.
that would
Because
have been great.
for some reason, it hurts your ego. Like, because as we know, like, but you know what? Growing organically is super important. And I
Yeah.
just kept saying to myself, these are the people that believe in my message and my vision and support me creatively. And that doesn't need to be like 30,000 or 50,000 if they're not supporting it. It can be, 1,000 or
Yeah.
500. I've seen successful artists just be on Instagram and be like sell more work than I do, and they have like 700 followers. So it
Yeah,
really
right? Like,
it's the people who are supporting you and you're behind you, and that's all you should care about.
mhm.
And okay, so keep going with your story.
So my Yellowfinch Images account was started to interact with Red Bicycle. I was like, whoa, they're hilarious. Like
I
these
know. I
comments
always
are
wanted a
awesome,
job there.
right? Like I'm like, I love
Oh,
this
but I
self
also have
energy.
people. So I'm like,
Like
oh,
they're
pretty cool.
yeah, they're like informative, they're kind of salty, I'm just like, I love this. So then they started commenting on mine, and now that I know who it was like Jill and Michelle, and I'm like, oh, this makes so much sense. Um, and then they were talking about social hour, and they were like, we're having special guests on social hour. Who would like to book in? And I was like, I would come, like that would be fun. And they're like, okay, you're in. So I went and I met them. Yeah, and it was just super cool. It was Jess, it was Jill, Michelle, and Michaela. And we had like an eggnog because it was November and I love eggnog. And we just visited and I was like, man, this place is super cool. Um, kind of like, well, if you ever need a
Would that be
photographer,
your
come here.
permanent friend who you pay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Out of?
Do you guys want to be best friends? But I didn't start working with them until a year later because we talked about, and I was like, yeah, I can do full-time photography. I'm just a little entrepreneur on my own, kind of doing what I want to do. I'm loving it. Like it was nice. I had lots of freedom. But I still have lots of freedom in this job. Jill's so responsive and she understands one motherhood to exhaustion. Like right?
Yeah.
My husband works away all the time, so I'm a solo parent and I travel and I'm currently doing 10 trips to town in a week and I'm half hour out. And that's just
Yeah.
for work and then getting my like Ellis to kickboxing or to he works out with Clark at Progressive Fitness, right?
Mm.
So
Well,
just
that's
doing
intense.
it's super intense. And then I have to do my photo sessions. So in I can already see everyone just like at my office being like, oh, here's the story again. In March, I put on 7,000 kilometers. And I was
Oh
like,
my
dude,
God.
I put on 7,000 kilometers in a month. Like I
That's
know like
mom parenting superpower right
yeah,
there.
like, oh my
Superhuman.
God, where was I going?
Yeah.
Like
That's
anyway.
insane. Yeah.
Yeah. And then like I love it though. Like my husband was like, we just need to move closer to town. Like, you can't keep doing this. And I was like, no, I think it's fine. It's a season. It's not going to last forever. It's
Well,
just
do
not.
you are any of your sons drivers? Yeah.
No, like Ellis is 13. He just looks like he's 18 or whatever. He's,
Great.
yeah, he's like 6 feet and yeah.
So soon you will have,
Yeah.
although then there's a whole other element of,
Yeah.
having your
Driving.
driver on that highway, which like,
Yeah.
because
And like Ellis
noises out
drives.
there.
Yeah.
And
And we go
I
for drives
do,
though. Like
yeah,
he's a
probably
good
driven a
driver.
lot if you live in a rural
Yeah.
area. But
Yeah.
like when I go see Nicole with my art, I'm just like, how the fuck do you guys hit this highway every day? I would just hair would just fall out. I wish
Yeah.
it was double lane so hard. Or
It
like
needs to be.
separate. It's separate would be so much safer.
Yeah. Yeah. It
Hopefully,
really does need to be. I
if
hope
the government's listening today, we have some pretty big requests.
that highways, okay.
First of all, we need half female in the government. Number two, you need to bridge the gap. Number three, you need to fix our highway. No, we have some requests, and we're working toward them. But yeah, you sound like you are an incredible mom and an incredible human, and you're doing your best to do your part, and I see
Trying.
that, and I'm proud of you, and I wanted to share your story, and I want to support you. So I know summer for photographers is so fun. Do you have
How
a
many messages do you think I got in the last 2 days about canceling sessions because of rain? And I was like, we're doing it. We're not canceling.
You know what? Those can be very magical sessions because there's just like mist in the air or weird clouds or like a thunderstorm in the horizon or like the craziest sunset. Like,
like
you'll get eaten alive by mosquitoes, but it'll so be worth it.
We're at the session last night. We're along the river, and I'm just like, is that a wolf? Like, what do I hear? They're like, it's coyotes. It's a guy I grew up with, and he's like, it's coyotes, Randy.
Not any better, by the way.
Like there's a pack of them.
Both don't want to see them.
Yeah. I mean, they're whatever. They're around all the time, but yeah.
Oh, they are. No, my dad has land, and they are there. They like eat his chickens and stuff. So, but if you go further north, so my mom always took me up north, and my grandpa lived up there. And now and I talk about it a lot in my book, and I get really visual with, the last time we saw my grandpa, and he lived on Amiot Lake, which is just north of Meadow Lake. And then, so my dad also has his camper permanently at Keeley Lake. And cool. But yeah, she would make me go because I was young. You know how you feel about your parents and whatever.
Yeah.
So she would take me up there, and it was just like, now it's so special. Like, I treasure every memory and the calm and the quiet of like almost like a doing nothing sort of peace. And it's pretty magical in northern Saskatchewan is where I'm talking about. If no one knows what Meadow Lake is or anything like that, it's like, for all these places we go on the Beaver River. So that's where we spread my mom's ashes, on the Beaver River, because she just loved fishing for pickerel on the Beaver River. And so those memories are really special. But yeah, every time we went up north, you can hear the wolves when you're sleeping. Which, really? If you're from a city, well, no, we're not big or anything. It's pretty rural. It's pretty rural area, city, but you don't hear wolves.
Yeah, like there's wolves around here too. I've heard them. Actually, old Shep shot one by our farm years and years ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was crazy.
Did he have to shoot it? Like, why did he shoot it?
I don't know how to answer that.
Too close? Like, I don't know a lot about wolves.
No, I think that likely he had a tag for it, and did that. But like, I'm the worst person about that. I can already hear like Joe Miazga correcting me. I have nothing about it. I just know that it was huge, and he pulled up in his pickup truck to our farm to have his morning coffee with us, like he would do. And my dog Dexter was
wolf in the back there.
My dog was like freaking out. He did not like Shep after that, and it was really funny. And we would like take Dexter to Shep's shop for coffee. Like they were buddies. Anyways, yeah. So there was just this huge wolf, and its paws were like bigger than my hand. Like, I was like, this thing is massive. Like, it was longer than the end gate of his truck. And it's like,
what?
It was huge. Yeah, he had it in his store for a long time, like taxidermy.
If it ever came to us living in a society where I'd have to kill an animal, I would lose.
I know.
I couldn't do it. Sorry, hunters and stuff like that. I do try to support and get local meat and stuff, but like, yeah, if it comes to, and that's what I love about like Indigenous culture and learning, is there's so many different levels of care. And I was in a book club with my friend, because her family's all from like right by the Saskatchewan River there, and she was really interested in just like Canadian authors. And so to like read about the war and read about like what happens if you like kill a bear. They were next to starving, but this guy killed a bear, and what happened, and like, it's just so interesting. But yeah, I just could never bring myself to kill a creature, because there's just some sort of living thing about it that I just couldn't take away,
I know. When I was a teenager, it was like we go get gophers, right? But that's because we were farmers, and every farmer, they go on their gopher hunt.
I know. My family had farms, and I just couldn't take it. The gopher snaring, I would go to my grandma and just be like,
oh my gosh. So I remember my grandma Clara at her house. My cousin Sonny was there, and my brother Lee and Robin, and they went down and they snared rabbits down the riverbanks, and they caught 2. And so they brought them up to the house. And my grandma Clara, is a sweet little cookum, like has her little cookum scarf on her face, always in a dress and a jacket. Sweetest, quietest little thing ever. Complete opposite of me. But watching her tiny little body standing at the kitchen sink, like cleaning the rabbits and making stew, I was like, how are you doing that? But it's so cute. Like it's like a core memory of mine. Like I remember her skinning the rabbits and I was really interested and I was watching her and she was telling me how to do it. And I think that I could do it if I had to, but I don't want to. But she just did it and she was so sweet and like loving and strong. She was doing it. Like, I don't know, yeah.
But it wasn't like they were snaring them for sport. They were snaring them to eat and like keep every part of that for something, right? Like, oh shit, we lost Randy. She'll pop back in. Hello? Oh, there we go. Did you lose connection or did you hit a button?
Okay, I think I'm back. I don't know what happened. My computer restarted.
Oh, I was wondering, I was like, that's not just like a connection loss. This is a few minutes. I'm able to check all my emails and get back to my messages.
Yeah, perfect.
Because as mothers, we know time
is
the essence.
I'm glad that worked out for you. Like,
okay, yeah, so we were talking about skinning rabbits. Do you remember any like traditional things like you talked about core memories, like your grandma and stuff like that? Do you have any like really strong core memories of like being in Onion Lake and being with your mother's family?
oh yeah, like half of my life was up there. I feel we would go mom's siblings were all so close, like so tightly knit. And her brother Harry Carter was married to Mary Wynn. He passed away a couple of years before my mom did. Our family took a huge blow within like 5 years. It was insane. But they had 5 kids together, and then there was 4 kids in our family, and we went up to Onion Lake all the time. And we'd have like kid swap sleepovers, whatever.
That sounds amazing.
We call it like we're the sibling cousins. Like we're so close. Like it was Sean, then Lee, then Kevin, then Robin, then which one? Jeff, then Ricky, Aaron, me, Ryan. Like we're all staggered in birth, but so close. So yeah, it's just like wild. We were wild. I loved it. They'd come to the farm and we would tie like tractor tire inner tubes together and like roll down the riverbank hills and like build forts.
How much did those inner tubes get used then? That's very one of my core memories at the lake is those tractor tire inner tubes. Like, oh God, we'll invent a real tube to sell. We'll all use these tractor tires.
Wrap it to the roof of your giant Suburban or throw it in the back of your giant Suburban as you drive up to Little Fishing Lake and go float on it in the water, right? Like we all rode in the vehicle on the back of it. Like
And the freaking air thing always
Oh yeah.
caught you. The
The
thing where you
worst.
blow it out, you always
Yeah.
get like a cut on your ribs.
Always. Yeah. So fun. We had 3 of them in our yard because we didn't have a trampoline. All our friends had trampolines. And we had inner tubes. But yeah, no, I remember lots of stuff. So our family wasn't like they started to reclaim the traditions in the last 20 years here, but like when I was younger there wasn't a lot. Like they were very fluent in Cree, my whole family. And it's like old Cree. Like I have friends who are learning Cree now, and I'll say a word and they'll be like, that's not how you say that. And I'm like, but that's how like old Cree is said. Or like I could just also be wrong because I'm not great at it. But my one cousin says like learning Cree from a book that was written by like it just the way that it translates isn't the same as just learning to speak Cree from someone who's speaking Cree. Like, you know what I mean? So there's a few really good accounts that I follow on Instagram and that I love. I love to follow. Like I am Naheo is one. He's great. He will speak the language. He'll put the writing there. He'll explain all of the different meanings. He'll tell you how to say it when you're talking about your mom's side of the family or your father's side of the family, or
So like
there's no
feminine, or
there's so it's there's I don't really know how to explain it, but there's no he or she in Cree. Like
oh wow, okay.
yeah, they don't have that in the language, which is super cool. And I
Yeah.
remember my grandma Clara speaking English and just interchanging he and she when she would talk about someone. Like even my mom had her healer come into the hospital and help her as she was going and smudge for her and that, which the hospital was really great and they let that happen. So that was super cool. But he was like standing right by her bed and he'd be like, he's doing this right now. Like he'd explain as he and then would suddenly say she. And it was just, it's so sweet. Like I just love him so much. He's just adorable, but it's just interchangeable. There's no she and Cree.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll have to send me those like the accounts you can follow because it is very interesting and I think people should learn about it and I'll share them in the links as well.
Yeah, for sure. It's really cool to see the Cree syllabics, see the word written down, and then if you swipe, they have like the video of them speaking it, and it's awesome.
Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's so much learning and it's I like to see that that Indigenous learning is coming back into the school systems once again, and it's just a lot of work by some amazing people, and so yeah, our community is we're doing it.
Yeah.
It's I'm looking forward to all that, but it sounds like we have a lot of similar Saskatchewan childhood memories,
Oh yeah.
which is so fun. So sorry to anyone who's listening who's like no idea what we're talking about. But yeah, we're little sun rats just left out with our families and the kids because it was different. Like I remember having I think I have 48 first cousins or something like that. So we were just left out to our own devices.
Our family's so big. I have cousins who I don't even know. Like I don't even know them. When I was at the powwow at Lakeland College that the Heart of Treaty 6 put on, the very first powwow in Lloydminster like that, by the way.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that was the first one.
Yeah. Like anyways, I mean, I hope it's an annual thing now and that it happens all the time. Actually, in the year of 2020, there was supposed to be like a Mother's Day powwow happen at the Civic Center, but it got canceled because I had wanted to attend that. And I actually don't know who was putting that on. I have no idea. But that one got canceled. But yeah, I don't know. I forgot what I was saying. It's fine.
I do that all the time. I
don't know where we are. Talking about our experiences, right? Like, I don't know. There's so many.
Family and big families. Did you see one of your cousins?
Oh, yeah. Okay. This is hilarious that I forgot that. That's literally the point of this. So at the powwow, there's this little toddler dancing. And I was like,
The
oh
one
my
you
gosh,
photographed?
yeah. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she's so cute. Her name is Brave. She's anyway. So then I see
Really? Her name is Brave.
her. Mhm. And
Oh, that's
my
great.
my auntie Vivian is there. So I'm talking with her and she's like, "That's my little Chapin. That's my baby." And I was like, "What? Like this is your daughter's baby?" And she's like, "No, this is my daughter's baby." Like I was like, "Oh my gosh." It's like so then we're talking and then I'm my like the whole time Clint Chokin's like introducing me to people and he's like, "She's your cousin. She's your cousin." And I'm just like, "Oh my god." It was so funny. Like he's awesome. He's a relative of ours too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like because
Yeah,
the
I can't
Carter,
wait to meet him.
yeah, he's super cool. The Carter,
So yeah, sorry, just because I'm randomly trying to excited to meet Clint. So
he's the best.
LPSD, we're starting Art Academy in the fall, and
Yeah,
he's LPSD's Indigenous contact and works with. So I have not met him yet, but I will soon, and so because I'll be working with him.
yeah,
That's why
you
I'm
will
excited.
love him.
Oh,
Yeah,
good.
I've done their family pictures. He worked with my sister-in-law at Lakeland College, and this is quite a few years ago now. She bought him a gift certificate through me to do a family session for him and his awesome wife Trina and their twin boys. And it's just they come out to my house last year and I did their family pictures here too. And then they like come inside and we just visited. And Clint was like telling us about like our family history, like pieces that I didn't know. My aunts are so good at remembering our family history and telling us, and I need to write it down. Like I need to write this down or record
Don't
it
write
down.
it down, record it, and
Yeah, I
then
need to record it.
down.
Yeah, because they're
So
incredible at it.
I
And then Clint knows other sides of the family history. Like it's just so cool.
mm-hmm.
Like amazing. Anyways, like yeah, we're really spoiled with some rich family history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do talk about that in my book as well, is that like you need to take the time to call your grandma, call your great grandma, call your because those stories will be lost and they are a part of you. Like you are a living piece and version of them, and they sacrifice so much if you think about what they went through in their lifetimes, the things that they've seen, the experiences that
Yeah.
they've had. And uh so and the it is like survived world wars, or like, and how and why they got here, or when they were here, or they were original. Like it's so important that we do learn our histories and tell our children about it, and because there's ways to learn from it and make the world a more inclusive place that we can all be proud to be a part of.
Yeah.
um, and yeah, I'm finding more and more, and I think that comes with like becoming a mother.
Yeah.
You appreciate your parents and you appreciate your grandparents, and like you appreciated that my grandma had 13 children. Like, what?
My grandma had, and I'm gonna say
Like
be wrong. I think
how,
Grandma Clara had 11 children and
how
lost
strong
two.
do you have to be to like physically, mentally come out of that? Like,
My
or not come out of it, but do
yeah,
it all.
yeah. With Grandma Clara, I was like, because she is a residential school survivor. Like she's passed away a long time ago. I feel like it's 13 years. I can't even remember. No, it wouldn't be 13 years. That's too long. Anyways, maybe around a decade. Geez, I'd have to literally look at her funeral card. Anyways, she was a residential school survivor. So she went to residential school and then had babies. And I'm like, she loved her babies. She loved being a mother. She was so good. But how do you have 13 babies and know like they're going to go to residential school? Like that's their fate. They're
Mhm.
going. And they did. Like they did. She did lose two. There was one named Harvey and one named Leonard, and they both passed away at a young age, like I believe 3 and under. But she just no one should have to lose their children before they go. Do you know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
so she went through so much and she was such a strong, really quiet and gentle and loving woman who I just was like, where is your anger? Like she had
Yeah.
no anger. She just
Mhm.
didn't. And if you ever did something wrong, she wouldn't scold you. She would never make you feel bad. She would gently tell you like you shouldn't do that. And that's it. And you wouldn't ask her why, right?
No.
Like she would just say it, and you just were like, okay, grandma said that, right? Like I won't do that. Yeah, and then she has her kids, and man, they're funny. Like my uncles and aunties are just hilarious, and got big auntie and big uncle energy. They're like they're funny. They would swear at us when we were young if we were being wild and loud and crazy, and they all went through it. Like, and I think our family was really fortunate to have had Grandma Clara like as such a soft and gentle matriarch, and
But resilient, right?
yeah,
My
but not
mom,
by choice. Like, you know,
no, that's what I mean. Like my mom said, I remember in like the last year on one of our long ass drives to the around Saskatchewan. I just remember because she loved to do that. And so it was just like sometimes like the whole time just quiet. But and then sometimes she would open up. And again, one of those wise people where you're like, I'm not gonna say anything wrong, or you know, I'm just gonna listen or whatever, or sleep if she's not
yeah.
saying anything. Um,
Oh, that's so funny.
so she said, because in our family there have been some losses of children, and she said that, and we are talking about death, and she said that would be the most. She said, I want to go before you because losing a child is the I couldn't. It's the most painful thing a mother could ever go through.
Yeah,
I don't know how you come out of that. You don't, right?
I don't
So
know either.
would change your life forever, I imagine. And so I think, yeah, there's some level of resilience and, you know, living for the people who you need to be that person for, because they need you. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, there's some definite resilience that comes out of those heavy losses, and we do talk about it. I asked my sister today if she listened to my podcast, and she said I tried. I tried listening to your podcast and I can't. She's like, I just bawl. I was like, we'll get through the first
Yeah, get through it. I'm surprised I haven't cried
three
yet. Like, to be honest, I really was like, oh my
solo
God.
episodes. Because I talk about like lessons
Yeah.
and losses, and it is heavy, and
It's
but
maybe, but like it's such a part of life. Like grief is a huge part of life. We're all terrified of it. But like
mhm.
I am fine. Like I'm like, okay, I can do anything now. I've weathered the storm of losing my mom. I can do anything now.
That's how I felt when I, you know, it takes you so down. It's like losing a limb, and it takes you away for a while into a different plane of grief, and
Yeah.
sometimes it comes back in like heavy tidal waves, but like less and less over time.
Yeah.
um
I
right.
always find when somebody else I love loses somebody so important to them, that's when I find that it hits me again. Like, because I'm like, oh,
Hmm.
you're just put back there, right? So it's hard. But
Yeah.
this year, actually, so you were talking about your mom's ashes being down by the river, and my mom's ashes, there's some down by the river below our farm. There's some up on the hill up at Onion Lake. And my beautiful friend Karen at Flora Bora Forest Lodging, the yurts that I go up to in northern Saskatchewan, it's by Emma Lake. Christopher Lake is
Oh,
what it is.
Emma Lake has like great artist residencies.
Yes,
I don't know if
exactly.
you, but
Yes. There's like a really cool gallery there that I go to. So I'm going to the yurts, and this is my 10th year going. It was my cousin Nicole set up a mother-daughter trip there a decade ago. And so Nicole, Aaron, Mary Wynn, and Nicole's mom, Kathy, went. So Nicole is actually married to my cousin Jeff, who Ricky went to school in Calgary with Nicole, and when like met her, became great friends, and then was like, I think we should set her up with Jeff. And I was like, yeah, we should set her up with Jeff. And so they've been together forever. But anyways, we do this mother-daughter trip. And it was so fun. All of us would rent the yurt, and mom and Ricky and I stayed in one yurt together, and we would play dice and have wine and cackle. Mom wouldn't have wine because she couldn't drink, obviously, but and like I guess I should explain that she had hepatitis C. And when we went, she was diagnosed with cancer, like a tumor on her liver, due to the cirrhosis of the liver.
That never stopped my mom from drinking red wine.
Oh man, mom could not. Her liver was so,
It was just beyond, yeah.
it was beyond repair. Like it couldn't repair itself anymore. So if she drank,
Just was, yeah.
yeah, it was bad for her. So she had very good restraint and did not. But she loved listening to all of us cackle and get rosy cheeked and enjoy our night. It was so fun.
Yeah.
So we did that trip. And I love going back there because I go and I look at the guest books and mom wrote in all of them like every time. And it was like,
Oh my gosh.
I'm always like taking pictures and I just love it. So Karen let me put some of her ashes out there though. So it's extra special.
Yeah. Yeah.
Love
And
it.
that you go and there's a space to honor her
And then like, yeah, you're honoring her and you're just present with your kids. Like Jesse will try to come, but he's always working because he just works all the time. But the boys and I just get to go and I just get to be with my kids and we're in the bush. Like we walk through trails, we hike, we swim, we go boating, we're just together in this beautiful little forest and I absolutely love it. Like, and I think that those are the core memories that I want my kids to have. If I could force them, I would force them to keep those ones.
yeah. Well, they will. They'll remember, even though you drag them and it's uncool or whatever they think at the time, right?
Yeah.
Like I said, like my mom definitely like showed up with her vehicle and was like, "We're going." I'm like, okay, there I go with my mom again.
Yeah.
Just
But I love it. I love doing that with mom.
Funny, it's just because my brother and sister weren't around in those years, but and I was always home from university in the summers, so she needed a fishing partner, and that was me.
Yeah, the one who doesn't want to do like kill any animals.
No, yeah, I like to eat the fish, but we would go with my Uncle Bill and Auntie Gwen, and he just does it in the back of the boat live. So I didn't have to like. I just laid at the front and had boat naps.
That's awesome. I love
it's a
that.
very good fishing thing we had going on.
Yeah, that sounds like how I would like to fish.
Yeah.
I mean, I like to stand
all in the hard, gross stuff. I know how to fillet fish. I know how to do everything. I have all the gear. It's just I don't like to do it.
They're slimy.
Yeah, and so it is important. I've never been up near Emma Lake, but that sounds like something to put on the bucket list.
You need to. She's been listed in like top 10 places to go and be in Saskatchewan. Flora Bora is on there, and I'm so proud of this woman, Karen. She's amazing. She's a Karen, but not a Karen because she's perfect.
Okay, so what does that mean? Someone called me Karen. I don't know what that means, and I thought it was probably mean because it was on social media.
Oh,
like Karen from Will and Grace, or like what Karen?
No, like I don't know how to say it.
Okay, maybe is it a bad thing?
Oh, it's not positive.
Great. I called them a troll and told them to stop. So it's like I don't know.
Karen is the woman.
Karen means I'm pretty sure I don't want to be one.
No, you don't, and you're not one. I would never peg you as a Karen ever. It's like, let me speak to your manager. Like, do you stop recording me? Like, yeah. It's
okay.
You're not a Karen.
Okay. No, I'm not. I figure I don't know what it means, but I'm pretty sure I'm not a Karen. And I love to support people, and my best intentions are always in the forefront. So yeah. Not a Karen. Don't call me Karen.
Yeah, please don't call my friend a Karen. She's not a Karen. She's caring, okay?
Oh, that's so nice. Yeah, I should have. That would have been a really good response.
Yeah, you spelled caring wrong.
Yeah. Okay, it's 3, and I have like the biggest painting that I like. Such a big custom artwork I need to like do.
I love it.
Wow. It's super important. Speaking of the lake, I can't say a lot about it because it's a huge. I will cover it up. huge
Yeah.
surprise for a mother of her grandma. And it's all about like her lake life, and I've dried flowers, and so
Oh,
it's
I
going to be
love that.
getting a very special piece. And yeah, women are very like special women, and like special in families. Like
Yeah.
they have this way of like bringing people anyway in my life and in my experience. So I
Yeah.
know everyone's
We
experience is different.
My brothers are good like that. Like I don't see that we don't see each other enough. And like we say it all the time. We are like, we don't see each other enough. But like everyone's so busy in their own, like Lee's got his own business, he's always traveling back and forth. Robin works all the time and then he fills up his free time with like projects and things like he travels and his wife, like you know what I mean? And then I'm just in the running my ever loving ass off with photography and work and kids and
Back and forth.
dogs. I have all of the dogs. Like who needs 3 dogs? I have them. So I'm just busy and I actually don't love that.
Busy picking up dog food.
Yeah, I go through a lot of dog food.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, I don't want to be the person who's like, I'm so busy. Um, it's a season in my life that's very, very full right now, and I'm okay with it.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time to chat with me.
Yeah.
And we've got a big secret thing. The reason why, one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on, and we can't talk about it, but we are going to be collaborating and teaming up on a very special project that means a lot to our community and surrounding area. And I'm honored that you are teaming up with me, and it's so special. And thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me, and I cannot wait to work with you. I'm just so excited.
Yeah. Thank you so much for listening. Be sure to join our Color Me Happy community. We are doing sketchbook prompts all summer, so our summer sketchbook project, which is so fun. And I have to admit, I'm not good at some of the exercises. Because like I could draw portraits all day in my sketchbook. That's what I've been doing for a living for the past 17 years almost, I guess. Oh my gosh, I don't want to say that. That sounds like a long time. It is. So I could like nail out really perfect and amazing portraits in my sketchbook like until the cows come home. However, the sketchbook project is about experimentation and learning and doing bad things, basically. So I am attempting to like draw flowers and things that I don't normally do. And I'm doing exercises with the boys. And so it is really fun. We have 3 days done, and you can see what we've done in the community and or check it out on our blog. So I'll have that in the notes, or just join the community, share along. We have some really crazy cool artists who are coming on board with the sketchbook project, the summer sketchbook project. And so it's really neat to see them. Like we just finished our covers, so they have been doing incredible work as well. And don't be intimidated. It's for everyone. So if you're just doing this for the very first time, or your kids are just doing this for the very first time, that is totally okay. Jump in, share. I want to see what you're up to. Message me. I love making new friends and hearing from people. And so I'm at Brandy Hofer Studios or at Color Me Happy Community on Instagram, or you can email me at art@brandyhofer.ca, or just Google anything, and anything that I do comes up. You'll find me. Okay, thanks for tuning in. Chat. Okay, chat soon, friends. I'm going to actually... Not goodbye again. I'm going to actually play a song by Swear by the Moon, a new one to tune into. They're so amazing. Of course, super close to my heart because it's my brother's band, and the music that he's always written. Sometimes when I listen to the radio, I get really frustrated because I'm just like, how are these lyrics an actual song? And my brother's music is like absolute poetry and like so deep and beautiful, and there's symbolism and passion, and of course I think he's a genius because he's my brother. But his bandmate is also just like her emotions boil right under her skin surface, and she sings right from her heart. So enjoy this song by Swear by the Moon.
Through the window, I went through the door. I saw the change in myself, felt it, wanted more. Now there's no brick wall that I couldn't run through. I set fire to the feelings that are trying to drown you, trying to drown you. It's been far too long since I've seen Aurora's light. It's been far too long since I looked her in the eyes. If you wanna see the sunrise, you gotta stay up. We could start a fire with the whiskey in our cups. I checked out, yes, I gave up. Was a man in the window who was giving up on love. I kept singing, glancing at the moon, and I followed its light, and it led me straight to you. It led me straight to you. Crazy, I left town. I went north and I went south. Well, I floated on the breeze. Well, I figured things out. Started looking through the window. I went through the door. I saw the change in myself. I felt it, wanted more. Now there's no brick wall that I couldn't run through. I set fire to the feelings that are trying to drown you.